All right, everybody, welcome back to the Big Blue Dynasty series here on Madden 24. We are now heading to the 2024 draft. The New York Football Giants are in a decent spot. I feel like we got some good pieces that should give us some opportunity to go after some best players available, but also upgrade in certain areas. When you look at the offensive side, O-line is still in need, right? Van Rotten is just kind of like a piece to just be here for 1 year, and who knows how that works out. We have to figure out what happens with Dave Edwards, as we also signed him for a 1-year deal, and who knows what's going to happen there. So O-line being drafted is definitely a possibility. We also have to consider the tight end group, because right now it's just Bellinger and Waller, and that's it. The wide receiver group still needs something, some type of bang, because with Wan'Dale Robinson, Hyatt, and Slayton, that's great. Maybe we find something nice with Bryan Edwards, but there really isn't much after that. Wide receiver is also in play. Running back group after Saquon Barkley pretty much is very dull. So running back could be a possibility as well. And the quarterback group also still has a lot to be said, right? You got Tommy DeVito and Daniel Jones. I'm not sure if Daniel Jones is the right fit. And with how his contract is constructed, there is an out after the end of this year. On the defensive side, I think there has been quite a bit of upgrades that can really help out this crew. But we could still look for some potential depth pieces. There's a competition possibility there with Azeez Ojulari at left outside linebacker. So that could be up in the air now. Cornerback group, we did acquire Sean Murphy-Bunting and CJ Henderson, but that isn't the bang that is left. So corner could also still be in play. I would say when it comes to defensive line, we got AJ Epinesa, Bryce Huff, and Dexter Lawrence. But that doesn't mean much after them. Nunez Roches, DJ Davidson, Jordan Riley, Ryder Anderson, they're not much to be said. So we have to consider looking at some depth on the D-line as a possibility as well. So I'm pretty happy with this particular draft. I think it's going to be interesting. Falcons ATL is the one who created this draft. We'll make sure you'll check his page in the description there. I did went ahead and created a board as far as favorites that I liked. And surprisingly here, the player I'm looking at and I'm very interested in for our pick is Jayden Daniels over Drake May. I think Jayden Daniels has some really interesting pieces, but to me, Jayden Daniels screams possibilities for us. He's got good speed on him, so he has the ability to get outside and create some crazy mismatches there, so you may have to QB spy him from time to time. But he's also a pretty accurate quarterback in the pocket. And he did very well in this last season, being a Heisman Award-winning quarterback. So Jayden Daniels is my top pick. When you look at the other pieces there, I do have a couple of other prospects throughout the draft. I'm looking at a running back in the 3rd or 4th round. I'm hoping Braylon Allen, Bucky Irving, and Audric Esteem are there. For the wide receiver group, I'm looking at some other guys: Roma Dunze, Troy Franklin, Jalen Polk. So Washington is definitely on my board. Jalen McMillan, their other wide receiver there. Jerry Rice's son, Brennan Rice, is someone I'd be considered bringing in. And of course, you got Malik Neighbors. If he makes it on to us in the 2nd round, I'd be pumped. Maybe we decide to trade in this upcoming draft here, and maybe we move up in the draft to snag one of these wide receivers. Who's to say? And there's some other guys here on our board that I'm interested in. In the tight end group, I've actually looked at a couple different players here. Mid to late rounds. Theo Johnson from Penn State is definitely a versatile tight end that could help us out. He also is a good blocker. Jaheim Bell out of Florida State looks good. Brevin Spanford, to me, would just be a straight blocker. This guy is 6'7", 270. He can catch the ball, but really, if he has the ability to block for us as a tight end 3, I'm all about that as well. Eric All is another versatile tight end coming out of Tight End U, Iowa, who I think could be really solid for us. And then we got a UDFA, maybe a late round pick, and Trey Knox from South Carolina could be something. I am looking at guards across the board here. Troy Fautanu, Cooper Beebe, Kieran Magadaji, and Ladarius Henderson. So all different levels there. We'll see what fits. Either one of those prospects would be fine for me. There is only one right tackle I am looking at right now in the later rounds, and that's Garrett Greenfield. I think he could be something pretty interesting for us, develop, and maybe compete in the later stages, maybe the second year or third year of his career. Defensive ends are some I'm looking at. Darius Robinson and Cedric Johnson in day threes could be pretty interesting. They got some finesse moves on one and power move, finesse moves on one and a power move with Darius Robinson on another. Right end, Adisa Isaac out of Penn State is quite interesting. I think he's got some speed on him that is just a little different for us. And of course, Leatu Latu, right? If he makes it to us in the second round, that could be a grab for us and a steal. He's got some injury concerns, but honestly, I really like him as a player. There are a ton of defensive tackles I'm looking at that we may move around the line. Mason Smith is at the top with Rook Aurora out of Clemson, Becky Wingo out of LSU, Tyler Davis out of Clemson, Dwayne Carter is a day 3 cat out of Duke. All of them have different attributes, but all are very strong. Linebacker, Chris Braswell is the guy I'm looking at the top of the lineup if Leatu Latu doesn't make it to us. But I do like some other guys here like Peyton Wilson, Morris Luifau, and Curtis Jacobs. All of these guys have versatility as an outside back. There's one middle linebacker I'm looking at mainly for special teams, and that's Tyrese Knight out of UTEP. Right outside linebacker, Edgrin Cooper, I'm a big fan of out of Texas A&M. Jonah Ellis out of Utah. Trevin Wallace out of Kentucky. And Tyron Hopper out of Missouri. All of these guys can really help us out in a linebacker role. Now, as I stated earlier, although we did snag up some depth in the corner, it is not over yet. So I would have no issue with looking at some corners in the second or third round or in the later rounds. Kalen King is at the top with Quinion Mitchell out of Toledo. Kalen Carson out of Wake Forest is also interesting. Josh Newton has some traits. He's got man coverage. Tyree Jackson out of Oregon. Good length, 6'3", 195. And Mike Sainristil out of Michigan. I thought he played pretty good in this last national championship. So I got some good corners that I'm looking at there. Strong safeties, the players that I'm looking at are speed and are willing to hit people in the mouth. Sion Vaki out of Utah is a day 3 guy that I'd be interested in, but the guy that I may consider drafting in the 4th round is a big dog, James Williams out of Miami. Now, James Williams to me is a big freak. This guy can hit you in the mouth pretty hard. He's 21 years old, but the thing with me, he's 6'5", 215 pounds, and the guy is fast. He ran a 4.4 and 4.49, 4.46, but either way, at 6'5", that is a big deal. One of the guys that, to me, I was pretty upset that the Giants didn't consider because he had a poor combine and just didn't look great, but it's just something about him. I think if you would have worked with him, you would have saw it. That was Kyle Hamilton. The fact that he fell to the Ravens was just disgusting to me. And I think James Williams can be that for us. So that is a player that I could consider. Dane Belton, Jason Pinnock, they're not the future. We can grab someone like James Williams and we can train him, and maybe we can even put him in as a sub linebacker in certain positions. I wouldn't be upset with that at all. James Williams was a guy I'm looking at. So, we went ahead and summarized a little bit of the board, but now we get to head to the draft. I'm pretty excited about it. Let's get to it, everybody. Let's start the 2024 draft. So the Bears are up. Quarterback is a possibility here. They have Russell Wilson as a backup, but that's it. They got Russell Wilson. Do you draft a QB here? Do you take a chance? You make it work. In my opinion, you do. You let Justin Fields go to the Falcons for a 2nd round pick. So you're hoping now to build around your future. And the first pick in the draft is going to be Caleb Williams out of USC. They get to restart the clock at QB. Makes a whole lot of sense for them, as Justin Fields is going to stay in the NFC, but he's going to be rocking in the South. And, I'm definitely interested in seeing how he performs in this upcoming season. The Commanders are up. Quarterback could be a thought, but maybe not at this time. And we will go ahead and check out what they decide to do here. they're going to go ahead and grab the best tackle considered in the draft. It's between him and Joe Alt. Commanders say Olu Fashanu is the dog. He's the guy. They're going to go ahead and make sure that Sam Howell is protected. Very good tackle. That'll give them an opportunity to move Charles Leno to the guard position. He's still on the team. And that O-line's going to look way better down the road. Now the Patriots are up. Patriots did not extend Trent Brown. And when you look at their depth chart, they have no QB. Drake May makes a whole lot of sense for them. But for some reason, this last mock, Patriots could consider waiting for the QB maybe in the later rounds. The pick is in, and they go Joe Alt. They need to find, to make sure the trenches are in order. There is a new coach there. I guess I get it. Get Joe Alt. That O-line still looks pretty good with Omenahu on the right side. So grabbing the best tackle for them that's left over, not bad. Now this is one that's kind of weird for me, right? Cardinals have an opportunity to grab Marvin Harrison Jr. here. Last mocks have said no. They've been saying Dallas Turner or corner. Definitely interested in seeing what they decide to do here. Cardinals are up, and they draft Dallas Turner. So they're going to try to improve that defense. That's not a bad move for them. But Marvin Harrison is just that kind of freak. Maybe they are scared of some injuries, as Marvin Harrison did have a couple concussions in this last season. When you look at their team and you check out the wide receiver group, Marvin Harrison Jr. would have been great there. Hollywood Brown is still there with Rondale Moore and Michael Wilson. Having Harrison there would have made a whole lot of sense. The running back group is led by Devin Singletary and James Conner now, so maybe they're just like, we're going to go heavier run set. But I think the wide receiver would have made a whole lot of sense for them. The Chargers are up before us, and the Chargers take Talais Fuaga. Makes a whole lot of sense for them. They get a chance to grab their their right tackle. It's going to solidify that group. They have Trey Pipkins on that team, but they need bookends to protect Justin Herbert. And that's not a bad move for them. They did extend Pipkins, but why not get the best prospect that you can grab? Now we are up, and we could choose to trade out of this thing and give another team a chance to move up, or we could move back and kind of figure out how this all works out. To me, there's a couple teams behind us that don't need a quarterback. And there's a team that definitely does. One player that comes to mind that could be that would take one with the surprising retirement of Aaron Rodgers is the Jets. I do think about trading back and accumulating more picks, as this team has a lot of holes. But when it comes down to trading or to drafting the guy that you want, the quarterback that you want, you got to take a chance now. Everyone loves Drake May for some reason. I don't know why. Marvin Harrison Jr. is still out there. I'm shocked by that. We could move back a little bit, as Justin Fields, is with the Falcons. So we could move back, accumulated a couple more picks, and still have an opportunity to grab our QB. We could grab a wide receiver now, just kind of roll with it. But I think when it comes down to it, you got to take the best player available and the best player that you feel could do some great things. Jaden Daniels did win the Heisman. Drake May was not even on our board. For me, he's just not the right fit. I just don't see it happening for us. It makes a whole lot of sense for him to go to a team that maybe could support him in another way. But for me, I think it's best that we snag our guy. I'm excited to see him here. Yes, we spent a whole lot of money on Daniel Jones. Yes, we could get Marvin Harrison Jr. But I think we have to think about our future. Daniel Jones is not it, based on how he's been playing. I like Jaden Daniels. I think he's been playing pretty well in college. And like I said, winning that Heisman just gives us some options, man. And there isn't too many mobile QBs like Jaden Daniels in the NFC East. So excited to take him. Welcome to the team, Jaden Daniels. We got a hidden dev here, 90 speed, 92 acceleration, 88 throw power. Nothing wrong with that. We can grow that along the way. But this is going to be nice there. We got some versatility. We got some speed behind the center now. Titans are up here. Titans can go a couple different ways, and they're going to go ahead and take the best tight end in the draft, Brock Bowers. I don't think I've seen a very great tight end for the Titans since Delaney Walker, so that's not a bad move for them. Gives Will Levis a little bit more help. Falcons are up now, led by Justin Fields, and instead of them going more wide receivers or something like that to help them out, they're just saying, you know what, we got to get that defense in order. They're going Jerzon Newton, one of the best prospects in this year's draft. That's not a bad move. Grady Jarrett needs some help on that D-line. I think the Falcons have great weapons for Fields, so that's not necessarily needed this time. Bears are up, and they're going to go Chop Robinson here, right? They got Caleb Williams. Now they need to help out with that defense. They got TJ Edwards and Edmonds on the team over there in the linebacking role. Nothing wrong with Chop joining them from Penn State. Jets are up, and they go ahead and snag up the last of the top 3 QBs, Drake May. With Aaron Rodgers retiring, it makes a whole lot of sense for the Jets to find their guy. And the fact that he fell all the way to 10, not a bad move for them. Drake May is a new Jets QB. Vikings are up, and they're going to grab Jared Verse, just continuing to build at that defense. Kirk Cousins is there for them at quarterback. You got JJ still there. You got Hawkinson ready to roll. You got a good left tackle in Darisaw. So improve the defense, get it in order. Harrison Smith retired for them, so not a bad move. Broncos are up, and they're going to go corner. They're saying, you know what? We got Patrick Surtain. We need someone next to him. Nate Wiggins isn't a bad deal. They want the no-fly zone to occur. QB is still a problem, right? When you look at the Broncos, they have no one on the roster at quarterback. But they feel, since the top 3 are gone, you got to go best player available. Why not snag up Nate Wiggins? Raiders are up, and the Raiders snag up a corner in Kool-Aid McKinstry. So the top 2 corners are gone. They're trying to build something there. They got Gardner Minshew currently right now as the QB, and that's not bad. They went ahead and franchise tag Josh Jacobs. They got Devontae Adams still there. Michael Mayer at tight end's not bad, and the O-line is decent. Colts are up here, and they're going quarterback. Bo Nix, though. This is so weird to me that the Colts still went QB. Bo Nix heading to the Colts. Anthony Richardson is there, but now they snag up a QB here in the top 15 picks. Maybe they feel like Anthony Richardson may not be fully healthy and ready for the next season. But maybe we got ourselves a competition there. Bo Nix is a good depth piece, though. I don't think he's going to be a potential end-all, be-all, but now you got a different type of QB there to help out with the Colts. Saints are up, and they go left tackle Jordan Morgan. Trevor Penning in it, so they let Andres Pete go due to the cap issues. So snagging up a tackle makes a whole lot of sense there. Interested in seeing what they're going to do with Derek Carr in the future. Jaguars are up, and they're going to go Braylon Trice, right end. They need that defense in order. Their team is set, right? Josh Allen got the big deal over there with a $171 million contract. Ridley came back. They got Kirk. They got Travis Etienne. They got Trevor Lawrence. They got Evan Ingram. Team's looking pretty good. Bengals are up here. They're going to go Marvin Harrison Jr. This is one of the most ridiculous steals in the draft. I cannot believe Marvin Harrison fell this far. I really thought about drafting him. I really thought about, man, what if we moved up and tried to snag him up? It just would have been ridiculous. I would have gave up so much. And I think there's some other receivers that we could snag up in the later rounds that could help us out. But what a play. The draft falls to the Bengals. They got T. Higgins. They got Jamar Chase. And now they got Marvin Harrison Jr. Joe Cool is going to go off next season. Seahawks are up, and Laiatu Latu ends up going to the Seahawks. I felt like Laiatu Latu was a Seahawk from the draft. It just made a whole lot of sense. I think he's going to be great up there. They got Boye Mafe. They got Jordan Brooks up there. Defense is young. The corners, I think, are going to grow with a new coach up there, too. Who knows what can happen? The sky's the limit. Now, the Rams went ahead and signed Derrick Henry to the team. They got a couple other players from the free agency that can work out. Let's see what they decide to do for their draft pick. They snag up Cooper DeJean. They need a corner, man. Their corners are kind of all messed up, so grabbing Cooper DeJean is not a bad move for them. I think their offense is pretty much in a good spot. Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Tyler Higbee, and freaking Derrick Henry. Rams are ready to roll. Steelers are up now, and they're going to go Amarius Mims. Makes a whole lot of sense. They drafted a left tackle in the last draft. They need a right tackle, and maybe that'll help out, Kenny Pickett. They still got George Pickens and Deontay Johnson. They got Pat Freiermuth, and they have yet to unleash Darnell Washington. Maybe they'll figure that out down the road. Miami is up, and makes a whole lot of sense here. Jaden Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and Malik Neighbors. AFC has a ridiculous group of trios now with the Bengals and the Dolphins. So sick that they fell, but we'll see what Tua can do with it. The Eagles are up, and they snag up Rome Odunze, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Rome Odunze, Dallas Goedert, DeAndre Swift. It's going to be a freaky time going against these guys twice a year. Houston is up, and Houston's going to go ahead and take Brian Thomas Jr. So the young group of wide receivers in Tank Dell and Nico Collins are ridiculous. They extended the veteran Dalton Schultz at tight end, and they do have a young running back in Dameon Pierce. Stroud's getting another weapon in Brian Thomas, man. That's going to be sick for them. Cowboys are up, and they're going to go left tackle. Tyron Smith is gone. They need another tackle. It's an easy choice for them. Packers are up, and they're going Kamari Lassiter from Georgia. They need to find some more defensive D-back pieces, right? The team is young, but Jair is not getting any younger, so they need to find some heir apparents down the road, and maybe Kamari Lassiter is the guy. Cardinals' second pick is up, and they snag up Terrion Arnold, this out of Alabama. He is a great corner, and I think them going that way is not a bad move. They double down on defense, and when I see this, man, I'm thinking about the wide receivers that are still available on the board. Bills are up, and they go Chris Braswell. That was one of the players I was hoping would fall to us in the second round, but it did not happen. That's a good move for them, though. Chris Braswell is a great linebacker, and maybe they reset and reload, get ready for the playoffs. Lions are up there, and they go Quinion Mitchell. They do not have that number one corner, so it's not a bad move for them. I think their offense is in a good spot. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, Jamar Gibbs, David Montgomery. They recently just signed J.K. Dobbins, and they got Jared Goff leading the helm. Maybe they're going to be okay. Buccaneers are up, and they're building up that O-line to help out Baker. They extended Mike Evans. They got Cade Otton, a young tight end. Cod White, young running back. Chris Godwin at wide receiver. Brought back Levante David. Let Devin White go. Shoyinka's still there. They got Vita Vea. Very good group. I think this O-line is going to look pretty good with Fautanu there. Ravens are up, and the Ravens take Byron Murphy, just bulking up the defense. They got a very good group of players over there, man. They don't really got to do much on the offensive side. Lamar Jackson is on that end. They got a good O-line. Wide receivers, Bateman, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews at tight end. So just continue to grow that defense. Defense being drafted in the first round is usually not a bad idea, as offensive pieces sometimes tend to fail. Chiefs are up, the runner-ups in this last Super Bowl, and they go tackle J.C. Latham. That's a good move for them. They need to keep getting younger on the offensive side, and with that crazy contract of Pat Mahomes, they just got to keep growing that O-line, and J.C. Latham is one of the best right tackles in this year's draft. And the Super Bowl champions are up for the last pick in the first round, and they take Keon Coleman. Brandon Ayuk was the Super Bowl MVP this season, this last championship. They got Deebo Samuel still. They got Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, George Kittle. Adding another weapon, never bad at all. So Keon Coleman is the dog from Florida State, joining the Super Bowl champs. Back to the top of the draft here. It's the Carolina Panthers, and they go Tyler Guyton. They snag up a right tackle. They need to keep freaking Bryce Young upright, and that's not a bad move for the Panthers there. Hopefully Bryce Young is a little more successful this season. Commanders are up, and they're going to take free safety Tyler Nubin. That's the first safety drafted in this one here, and it's in the second round. Kind of interesting there. Mike Vrabel is the new head coach for the Commanders, so they're kind of buffering up certain areas to help out Sam Howell. You got the Patriots up now, and they're going to take Enes Rakestraw out of Missouri to grab a corner here. So they grab Joe Alt on the back end, and they still did not draft a QB. Cardinals are up here, and they take Leonard Taylor out of Miami, continuing to buff up that defense. They went 3 defensive players here. You got a defensive coach in Rich Gannon, so not bad for them. Chargers are up at pick 5, and they take Graham Barton out of Duke. Not a bad move for them, and they kind of keep that rolling there. So we are up. We have the opportunity to trade out of this thing if we want to. You can get a lot of picks. It looks like a future 2nd and 3rd, and a 4th this year, and a 7th next year. Looks like everyone's trying to give me future picks. Raiders says, hey, you can move back to 45. We'll give you a 5 and a 7. Packers want to give us a 1st next year. Niners want to give us a 1st next year and 2 5ths. Falcons, hey man, just move, give us that. We'll give you a 6 this year and future picks. Eagles, nope. Dolphins, future 1st. Colts, future 1st. And then the Chargers say, hey man, we want another shot. We'll give you our 2nd, 3rd, and 7th next year. All of those are decent packages, but I am concerned with making sure that we get the right guys for our dude. So Jaden Daniels, right, is on the team. Now we have to think about a weapon, and there are some great weapons out there. Adonai Mitchell was a player I considered, but he's no longer on my board. Xavier Legette was potentially on my board. He has some really interesting speed on him, man. He could be a nasty, nasty player. He's a bigger kind of receiver too, 6'3", 227. Kind of fits the profile of what I'd like to do, but I'm just not sure if I'm willing to change my board here. When you look at my wide receivers, I am thinking about Troy Franklin. I am thinking about Jalen Polk. Troy Franklin, 6'3", 192. This is the fastest wide receiver in the draft. That's what I want. He's a great route runner as well. I think this guy can really do some great things with Jaden Daniels being able to throw that bomber. Troy Franklin's a different type of receiver, and it makes a whole lot of sense for us to have something a little different on this team. So I'd like to bring in someone like Troy Franklin potentially for this pick. There really isn't anybody else that can compete with this pick. 21 years old out of Oregon. Welcome to the team, Troy Franklin. 94 speed, 94 acceleration, 88 change of direction. This is a guy that has a shot, right? He could probably do something great for us. Jaden Daniels on the team. Nothing wrong with snagging up a wide receiver like Troy Franklin. I'm really excited for this draft. Titans are up now, and they're going to go Chris Jenkins, defensive tackle. Packers are up, and they go quarterback. They got Jordan Love, but they're saying, you know what? We like the competitiveness of J.J. McCarthy. Let's bring him in. He's going to back up Jordan Love. Bears are up now, and they're going to take right outside linebacker Edgrin Cooper. I think that's a good move for them. Buffing up that team, man. Chop Robinson, Edgrin Cooper are the last 2 picks for them. Look at the Commanders saying, dude, we're going to give as much protection to our guy over at quarterback in Sam Howell. And Jackson Powers Johnson is the new center there. Vikings find a new heir apparent to Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix. I don't think that's a bad move. Falling to the 2nd round. This guy was in the national championship. Fell short. This guy is a fighter. So him behind Kirk Cousins, not a bad move. They got a good veteran tackle at right tackle too. So, he's going to get a chance to grow there. Saints are up, and they're going to go Jonah Ellis out of Utah. Good move for them. They lost a couple different linebackers in this last offseason. Peyton Wilson going to the Vegas Raiders. Colts take Cameron Kitchens, another free safety here. Colts snag him up. It was really weird that they went Bo Nix, but it is what it is. Spencer Rattler. Whoa, we got a little quarterback controversy right now. Rattler going to the Eagles. What are they doing? They got Roma Dunze. You could go more defense, but they're saying, dude, we got to grab QBs, I guess? Weird. The Jaguars are up here, and the Jaguars get a corner in Kalen King. That's a great move for them. Bengals are up now. They're going to go Tavondre Sweat right before us. That's a good move for them, man. Great move. So we're up here. Our second pick in the second round. We got guys still out there. You could grab a tackle here in Kingsley Suamatai. This is a guy that's not on my board, but I didn't expect him to be here, which kind of freaks me out. Jeremiah Trotter's out there still, but Kingsley's the guy I'm willing to pivot here. He's a very good tackle. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with competition, but if we draft him this early, does that mean that we're going to use him immediately? Is he going to compete with Evan Neal? And if so, what happens to Evan Neal, right? Do we say, hey, you either move to guard or you get traded? And is he, like, how does that work for us? The fact that you invest the 7th overall pick on a player too, you have to think about, you know, what that does for a team. And Kingsley falling to us is pretty amazing, though. But we got to think smart here. I have no issue with going back-to-back wide receivers. We're just gonna buff up our offense. Why the heck not, man? I think our defense is in a decent spot. Why the heck not? Why not go after a guy like Adonai Mitchell? He falls to us. Didn't expect him to. Let's take him. Hidden Dev, 90 speed, 91 acceleration, 85 change of direction here. So now the offense is in a great spot. Jaden Daniels, Troy Franklin, and Adonai Mitchell are New York Football Giants. If this happened in the draft, I would lose my freaking mind. Everyone go O-line, O-line, O-line. No, dude. If we got all these weapons right here, that would be so sick. Rams are up here, and the Rams are going to go ahead and take Kingsley Suamatai. Like, that makes a whole lot of sense there. They need a left tackle. Like I said, I could have went after him and buffed up the O-line, but you know, it's going to be fun seeing these two wide receivers out there. Jeremiah Trotter heads to Pittsburgh. Miami goes ahead and takes Jatavian Sanders, tight end. They snagged up Malik Neighbors. Jatavian Sanders falls to them here. Great decision, great move. Eagles with their second round pick gets Christian Haynes, right guard. Browns are up and they grab Xavier Worthy. Amari Cooper needs some help. They got Elijah Moore there, but Xavier Worthy is not a bad move. Cowboys are up and they go TJ Tampa. Gilmore's not getting any younger. Trayvon Diggs is coming back from an ACL. We're going to grow it up. Blake Corum is the new running back 2 behind Aaron Jones there in Green Bay. That's not bad for him, man. He gets to stay close to home. The Texans are up and they go Kalen Carson there. Good move. Double down on corners. Xavier Legette heading to the Bills. That's a good move for them. Gabe Davis was extended, but you know, things happen. Players get hurt. And I think Legette could be a potential wide receiver 1 down the road. Javon Bullard, another free safety, gets drafted here. I've been recognizing that, this time out of Georgia. So the Lions buffing up the defensive side. Buccaneers take strong safety Kalen Bullock. You got Josh Newton, one of the corners I was looking at, going to the Ravens. Steelers take Chris Abrams-Drain out of Missouri, another guy on my list. And then the Super Bowl champs take Mason Smith here out of LSU. They lost Armstead in free agency, so good move for them. Panthers take Cedric Gray to start this third round. Commanders go ahead and take Brandon Dorless out of Oregon. Patriots go ahead and take Jonathan Brooks out of Texas. Cardinals are up and they take Michael Hall Jr. Chargers are up and they snag up tight end Cade Stover. That's a good move for them. They need another tight end. They lost Gerald Everett. That's a great move for them. Cardinals are up and they're going to take Cooper Beebe out of Kansas State. So now we're up. It's in the 3rd round here. What do we do, right? How do we make this work? Don't see myself taking another wide receiver. We're probably going to relax on that. Adisa Isaac is on our list, and we do need some defensive end help. I think that makes a whole lot of sense there. So Adisa Isaac is on our list. A guy that I really like is James Williams here. Strong safety. I don't know if he makes it to us in the 4th. That is a guy I would be so pumped to have. He's a big dog. Strong safety isn't necessarily a need, but Dane Belton and Pinnock, again, they're not the guys that that are the end all be all. I would love to have someone on my team like James Williams. We could also look at Bucky Irving here as a potential backup at running back, but maybe he falls to us in the 4th. I think realistically here, we want to make sure the defense is in a good spot. It's a new DC, and I think Sam Williams is kind of an animal, man. James Williams is an animal. This guy could be really something special for us coming out of Miami. This guy's willing to hit you in the mouth. He's a C-man coverage and C-zone coverage, so we can make him whatever we would like. He's fast. He's an athlete. I like him. James Williams, welcome to the team. 89 speed, 91 acceleration. He is a normal dev though, but this isn't a bad move for us. I like it. I think this is a good player. I think Sam Williams can be something very special in the blue. Falcons are up, and they're going to go Adisa Isaac. That's hilarious. They were ready to roll, man, and they snagged him up. Adisa Isaac was on my list. I just couldn't see it happening at that time. Junior Colson going to the Jets. Bears take Cedric Von Prawn. They got the Lions taking DJ James out of Auburn. They got the Seahawks taking Ben Sanat. Raiders take Bucky Irving. So Bucky's gone. He's a great player, man, but makes sense. Bucky's going to head to Las Vegas. Zach Frazier, center, going to the Colts. Cole Bishop's out there out of Utah, going to Denver. Falcons take Ramon Willis. Roman Wilson, excuse me. Bengals take Blake Fisher, right tackle. Seahawks are up, and the Seahawks take Rook Orhorho. He was on my list from Clemson. Rams are going to go ahead and snag up Jalen Wright out of Tennessee, running back, backing up Derrick Henry. Malachi Worley out of Kentucky going to the Steelers. You got Zach Zinter going to the Dolphins. Texans are up, and they're going to take Christian Mahogany out of Boston College. Tommy Eichenberg going to Cleveland. Dallas is up, and they go Ladd McConkey out of Georgia. Green Bay takes Jaden Hicks out of Washington State. Braylon Allen heading to the Cardinals. Dude, how many running backs do you need? You got Singletary and James Conner. DeMarcado's over there. Now you got Braylon Allen. So sick. Karan Magadeji, man, that's tough. He's gone. Lions are going to take Will Shipley out of Clemson. Bucks take Theo Johnson out of Penn State. Our picks are starting to fall. Audric Esteem! So they find another running back there in Baltimore. Michael Pratt is another quarterback that comes here. He's going to Kansas City. Not bad, learning with Pat Mahomes. Mike Sainristil, Michigan, going to the Niners. We're now in the 4th round. Max Melton made it all the way here to Rutgers to Carolina. Jalen Ford, middle linebacker, going to the Commanders. You got the Patriots up, and they go Dallin Holker out of Colorado State. You have the Cardinals up, and they go Satoa Luamea out of Utah. The Chargers are up, and they're going to go ahead and take Trey Benson. So we have a long wait in the 5th round. We're like one of the last picks in the 5th round. So we really got to think about what do we want to do here, right? Wide receiver, there's still a ton. There's still a ton of wide receivers out here. But I need to think about maybe considering some moves in the corner position. We could start maybe considering some defensive tackles, get the line in order. I am thinking about a linebacker though. I feel like the linebacker depth is very weak for us. So when we look at our linebacker group, we have to think about what's out there. Who's out there, right? Maris Liufau, 22 years old. He's got A-zone coverage, A-tackle. This guy is an athlete. Very agile. Could do some work for us there. When we look at the right outside linebacker, Trevin Wallace and Tyron Hopper are still here. So we got some guys still left. But Maris is the best player available for us in that space. Meki Wingo, right? Defensive tackle. We could get some help in that space too. I'm wondering if we look at that, but Darius Robinson and Cedric Johnson are still there, so I wouldn't be upset about that. Ladarius Henderson out of Michigan is still there. We could grab a guard here, about with the depth. And the rest of our guys, Jalen Polk is still out there. Brendan Rice is still out there, surprisingly. Running back, that was something I was considering. It doesn't look like I have any running backs left on my board. So unfortunately, we would have to, I don't know, I don't know what I would do there. Quarterback, so Jordan Travis, Sam Hartman, so the rest are UDFAs. Quarterback fell off real quick, huh? So when it comes to my favorites, I got 21 players on the board still. Tight end could be something here. Jaheim Bell isn't a bad tight end. I wouldn't be upset about taking him, but I look at like just value, right? When you look at the wide receiver group, we got 6 wide receivers. We just drafted 2 more, but a couple of them probably aren't going to be on our board. Jalen Polk would be a very good player. He is within the round 1 and 2. We could grab another tall receiver here in Brendan Rice. This is Jerry Rice's son. This guy looks like he would be an incredible fit for us. And I think we have to go out defense though, man. I want to make sure like our defense is in an okay spot, and it's either Meki Wingo or Marist Liufau. I would say probably we got to go Marist, man. I think we got to do it. 6'2", 235 out of Notre Dame. Welcome to the team. 86 speed, 88 acceleration. Change of direction is kind of an issue, but I think this guy could do some work, man. Maybe he could surprise us. If anything, he'll be on special teams, but I'm looking for someone to compete against Azeez Ojulari. Titans are up here, and they're going Devontae Walker. He falls all the way here. Not a bad move, helping out Will Levis. Darius Robinson gets snagged up here. Braden Biskey going to the Jets. What the heck just happened? What was that about? What the heck? Braden Fiskey going to the Jets. You got Julian Pearl from Illinois going to the Bears. Matt Goncalves, right tackle, going to the Eagles. Curtis Jacobs going to the Jets. You got the Raiders taking Trevin Wallace out of Kentucky. Marshawn Lloyd going to the Colts. Jalen Polk heading to the Jaguars. Jaheim Bell heading to Atlanta. Dominic Pooney, Kansas, going to Cincy. Javon Foster out of Missouri going to Seattle. Pittsburgh taking Katan Oladapo out of Oregon State. Brandon Coleman out of TCU going to Pittsburgh. Broncos take Meki Wingo. Bo Braid to the Bears. Oh my gosh, all my guys are disappearing. Tiki Smith, Georgia, going to the Niners. More depth there for them. Drake Nugent from Michigan going to the Packers. Houston taking Garrett Greenfield. That was my last O-lineman I was hoping for. Jordan Travis out of Florida State going to the Bills. That's not a bad place for him. Ray Davis out of Kentucky to Minnesota. Buccaneers take Dylan McMahon. You got Ladarius Henderson. I think that was the last O-lineman on my board going to the Ravens. Chase McMillan going over to Kansas City. That's not a bad move for him. Nathaniel Watson out of Mississippi State going to the Niners. 5th round's up. Browns take Dwayne Carter out of Duke. Washington takes Josh Proctor, free safety. Bo Lemur out of Arkansas heading to New England. Matt Lee, center, heading to the Cardinals. Kyrie Jackson, corner, out of Oregon, going to Los Angeles Chargers. Panthers take Nelson Caesar. The Titans are going to go ahead and snag up Dejon Edwards out of Georgia. Broncos take Muhammad Kamara out of Colorado State. And F1 Olufasheo out of Washington heading to Atlanta. Bears take Jermaine Burton. Eagles are up, and they're going to go and take A.J. Barner. Broncos take Marquez Cox. Jared Wiley out of TCU heading to Las Vegas. Tyler Davis out of Clemson. That's a good pick for the Colts. New Orleans take Tyrese Knight. That was one of the guys I was hoping that would make it to us in the late rounds. Sam Hartman out of Notre Dame going to Jacksonville. Backing up Trevor. Javon Solomon out of Troy going to Cincy. David Ugwobu out of Houston heading to Seattle. The Rams are up until they take Zion Tupuola Fatui. I don't know how he fell this far. I totally forgot that guy's name. Javion Cohen to the Rams. Good pick, man. Good old lineman. Jalen Harrell heading to Miami. I think that's good right there. That guy's pretty good. He's an athlete. Brevin Spanford, man. What? Out of Minnesota heading to the Cleveland Browns. I didn't think he was going to make... I didn't think anyone wanted him, man. Andrew Coker heading to Minnesota. You got McKinley Jackson, defensive tackle, to Kansas City. Cedric Johnson out of Ole Miss going to Buffalo. Cardinals are up, and they're going to take Dwight McLaughlin out of Arkansas. Bills are up, and they take Mason McCormick, and the Lions are up, and they take Braden McGregor. So definitely a lot of players fell off our board, but there are still some surprises here, right? Johnny Wilson is still out there. Jabari Thrash, Brendan Rice. These are guys that were on our board. Jalen McMillan is still on the board. I like Eric All out of Iowa. I think this guy's got some good pieces here. 6'5", 250. He's coming out of tight end U as well. Dude's strong. Dude's fast. Kind of 4'6", 8". Not the greatest of speeds. But what I like, though, is he has the potential to block, which I wouldn't be upset with a tight end 3 that can do that. I think he could be pretty solid for us. I don't think this is a bad move. We get a tight end 3. Welcome to the team, Eric All. 81 speed, 84 acceleration. Not bad. I think he could do some things for us. It's a good move. Not the craziest of things, but it is what it is there. We're coming up real soon here. The Ravens are up, and they're going to get McAllen Castles out of Tennessee. 31st pick in the 5th round is going to go to Roger Rosengarten out of Washington to Minnesota. And the Panthers take Charles Turner out of LSU. Minnesota is up, and they're going to go ahead and snag up Trey Knox. It's the other tight end I was looking at, South Carolina. Cam Hart fell all the way this far, so the Panthers snag him up. Patriots take Kamal Hayden. The Cardinals take Marshawn Nealon. Chargers take Steel Chambers. So I'm going to look at my board here, see what we got. Brendan Rice is still there. Could take another safety, but Brendan Rice would be nice. The fact that he's fallen this far is pretty incredible. If there was a corner on my list, I'd be happy to take him, but there isn't. I got 7 corners on my roster, though. I think we could make it work. Linebackers, we drafted one. I think I got a decent amount of linebackers that could really help us out, so I'm okay there. Corner, we're going to have to make it work with the guys that we signed. I can't complain there. I would say tackle would have been nice, but maybe we're just going to look at some UDFAs in this upcoming preseason. Maybe we'll snag up somebody that could surprise us. I think he's a good freaking prospect. Christian Jones. Could get Brendan Rice right now, but honestly, I don't think I need another wide receiver. I think Franklin and Adonai are fine. It just doesn't make sense to try to snag up another guy, and I don't even know how far he would make it. I think this is a good move. We improve the O-line. Day 3 guys, take him. 86 strength, Norm Dev, 66 speed, 75 acceleration. He's a big guy though, 6'6", 321. Might have an opportunity to compete with a guy here. So we'll go ahead and skip the rest of this draft. Just kind of let it roll out, see what ends up happening here. And when it comes to checking out who was drafted and who, as far as where they went, I always like to go with my conference first before we move on and end this episode. So for the Giants draft class, we hit some definite needs, and I think we were able to infuse some new youth and some potential sparks that could really get these Giants going in the right direction. The first pick in the draft was Jaden Daniels. I really like how this guy can play for us. He's a Heisman Award winning quarterback, and I think with what he's done at LSU, he could be something very special for us. With our first pick in the second round, we were able to grab Troy Franklin out of Oregon. I'm shocked he fell this far. He's got some development opportunities in the route running, but I think with what he can do for us, there's great possibilities that this guy could be our potential wide receiver one. Another player that has the opportunity to be a wide receiver one is Adonai Mitchell out of Texas. His route running is better than Troy Franklin. Catching actually might be even a little bit better as well. But there's nothing wrong with having options when on the field. For the fourth round, or for the third round, we went ahead and snagged up James Williams. This guy just feels like a freak that should be chosen way sooner. I get it. Strong safety, maybe not the craziest of needs, but you look at someone like James Williams out of Miami. This guy could be that Kyle Hamilton that the Giants missed out on. Maris Leofau isn't the craziest of prospects. This is a later round pick. I think he's got some good potential here with his zone coverage and play recognition, and he can hit the ball. He can hit the opponents with an 80 hit power and a 79 tackle, so he could be reliable for us and play some special teams. Eric Gall was drafted late, 6th round pick or late 5th round pick. I wanted to bring in a tight end 3, and I think this guy could do it. His impact block is actually higher than I expected at a 67 with a 64 lead block. So all this stuff can really help us out. And we definitely need some depth in the tight end group. And the last pick of the draft was Christian Jones. This was more of just like a need. I needed someone to have on the line to see maybe we can have him compete. Maybe this guy could be something different. And if things all fail with Evan Neal, maybe he has an opportunity to play and show up and show out. All in all, I think the draft class was very strong for us. More top heavy, of course, but not a bad move. Let's check out the Eagles draft class. So they went ahead and snagged up Rome Odunze, who seems to be a freak of nature at a 76 overall. Maybe we could have traded up and snagged him. Rome Odunze is a great prospect coming out of Washington, but nonetheless, that's a good move for them. Them grabbing Spencer Rattler in the second round was very strange. Not sure why they did that, as they could have fulfilled some other needs, but maybe they're like, you know what? Jalen Hurts doesn't work out. Maybe Spencer Rattler does. Outside of that, nothing really surprised me. Their draft actually wasn't as strong. Again, top heavy there. Commanders are next here, and they had a lot of picks. They grabbed Olu Fashanu at the top at left tackle. They get a free safety in Tyler Nubin. Then they grab a center in Powers Johnson, probably the best center, I guess, projected. Brandon Dorless at left end. And they had a lot of picks, man. All of them pretty good except the last one in Driscoll. Cowboys didn't have a lot of picks, but they grabbed some players. They went for Patrick Paul at left tackle. They needed one. He's a hidden dev, though, so that can help in his development. With Tyron Smith heading to Titans, it's not a bad move for them. They grabbed TJ Tampa, and then Ladd McConkey fell to them in the third round at a 74 overall with a hidden dev. He's a different kind of receiver, kind of. They got a Michael Gallup already, and they got a Brandon Cooks, but maybe he could surprise them and show up and show out. But we're going to have to deal with him twice a year now, too. Then they snagged up Jamari Thrash, who fell all the way to the 7th, along with Hudson Clark. As far as the overalls, it looks like the best player in the draft was Marvin Harrison Jr., who fell all the way to Cincy. Brock Bowers was right behind him, followed by Joe Alt. Caleb was a 76, it looks like. Not bad. You got Nate Wiggins, Kool-Aid 76s, and then we snagged up Troy in the second round, and it was a 75, so I can't complain there. A couple more 75s, but I thought we drafted pretty well, man. So this team is ready to roll. Looking forward to getting ourselves into the preseason. We'll definitely have a video coming out for that as far as how that will look. Not sure I'm going to show everything there, but I need to get the books in order now. We're definitely going to look at snagging up some preseason free agents as well. We'll look at some UDFAs along the way. This is a very good team that's ready to roll, man. This is going to be super fun to see how these guys all play out. Troy Franklin, Adonai Mitchell, wide receiver. You got Jaden Daniels now potentially at the helm. He's going to get a chance to play with the ones due to the injury of Daniel Jones too. Defense, I think, didn't really have to do much. I'm excited to see what Williams does at strong safety. We'll also see Liufa'o. That'll do it for us today, everybody. I appreciated everyone that stopped by. If you like what you saw, please drop a like, leave a comment, and most importantly, subscribe to keep up with the series. I think these Giants are in a good spot, man. You just got to figure out how to make it all work. We'll get the playbooks in order pretty soon. We'll see how all that plays out, and then we will start and get ready, prepared for the season. Until next time, everybody, appreciate everyone. Let's go Big Blue. Have a good one.